Hello and welcome back to our X4 Foundations tutorial series. This is episode 10, where we're going to be covering mining, both manual mining and NPC mining. And the first thing we should take a look at is what ship we're in. This is a drill, which is a specific mining type ship. Not all ships can mine. Not all ships can gather mining products. You have to have a special type of ship for that. And if we're going to take a look, see that this ship has capacity for solid storage. Most of the cargo ships that we've been dealing with, that we've seen, would in previous episodes were able to carry container storage. That means goods that you would be buying and selling from stations under normal circumstances. Solid storage is for mining products like ore, silicon, ice, and Nvidium. And then there's also a liquid storage, which is for gas products like hydrogen. This ship also, I should point out, has a couple of specialized weapons. It's got a mining drill, which, take a look here. That's the mining drill. And it also has a couple of mining turrets. Mining turrets will, like most turrets, activate on their own when you have a targeted asteroid that you want to mine at. What I'm going to do right now is just disarm them all, so that they don't accidentally fire off and destroy the targets that I'm pointing out, because they will tend to do that, which is normally what you want, but not in this case. All right, so we're sitting here inside this asteroid field. It's not actually the greatest asteroid field. I probably should have picked another one, but we'll make it do. And in our regular cockpit mode, you can't really tell much about these asteroids. They just look like a bunch of rocks. But there is one additional use for the scan mode we talked about earlier, and that is to identify rocks that you can mine. And they will appear in a multitude of ways. First up, the first thing you'll notice is that they get a color outline, depending on the type of rock that they are. They will also appear in the radar as a blue rock. And then over here on the map, it will show up as a special rock. So we're going to go ahead and approach this guy here, and we're going to go do some mining. Now, there are a couple of ways that we can mine this rock out. The smart way and the fast way. The fast way is by just shooting at the rock just wherever you happen to be targeted and just blow the shit out of it. That will burst it into pieces and allow you to use the container magnet to grab the results. However, there is a better method. It takes a little bit more time, a little bit more attention and finesse, but you will get better results. And that is to target these little orange pieces with your laser. Now, be advised, the turrets aren't going to do that. If you have the turrets turned on and you target this asteroid, they're just going to blow the shit out of it. They don't care. They're just taking it down. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to shoot these manually, noticing that we have this little target pip as to where the gun, the mining beam, is actually going to hit. And we're just going to knock out these little orange rocks. Boom. There's one. Now let's turn on the magnet. There we go. Silicon. Storage 4% full. Now, despite what this says, it's not an inventory item. It goes into cargo. There will be sometimes inventory items that drop from asteroids, like lodestones and other items. Spacefly eggs is a good one. But I don't believe anything dropped from there. I don't think I saw... Yeah, we don't have anything. It would show up inside our backpack if that was something that we knocked out. There's another one. And eventually, you will deplete the asteroid that you're mining, and you'll have to move on. It used to be that if you turned the scan mode off and then turned it right back on again, you'd get a completely different mix of little rocks that you could shear off. But they have changed that so that you no longer can cheat the system that way. Oh, I'm not paying attention to where I'm going. I was looking at the mouse cursor. There we go. Ah, there we go. Look at that. We've got some silicon and a couple of lodestones, which can be used to create a spacesuit EMP. Let's go drill some more. So this is a nice little chill exercise that you can do if you want to. It's not really the most efficient way to do mining. The best way to do mining really is to use NPCs for it, NPC ships. But, you know, sometimes you just want to shoot rocks for a little bit. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how the turrets work. I'm going to go ahead and target this asteroid, which does say it's silicon, and it has a yield of 49 if we just blow the shit out of it. We're going to go here, and we're going to turn on the mining beams. Oh, there we go. And pop. All right, there's another one of those storyline starts. So we did actually grab a couple of things that we have not seen before. Grab some unstable crystals. Got 7 of those, along with the 2 lodestones that we picked up earlier. And we should be able to use these for a variety of things and sell them. Unstable crystals, be advised, in this sector are illegal products. That's why they are in orange. So you could get stopped by a cop, and unless you basically jump out of your seat...
Drill, mineral, sentinel.
They will catch you and tell you to drop your illegal cargo, and if you don't do that, they will attack you. Okay. Let's see if I can find another asteroid with something on it. Like I said, this is probably the worst sector to do this in. It just happens to be a wide field of asteroids. But I'll explain why. It's actually a pretty straightforward reason. This is a new save, and I did not reveal the entire map. But as you may recall, there is a ribbon, a highway ribbon, that goes in a circle around a bunch of sectors near the middle of the map. Kind of goes like this. And it actually does pass through Hatikva's Choice 1, which is right here. Mining is far less effective the closer you are to the ribbon, both for personal mining and also for NPC mining. If you really want to do a good job, you need to be farther away from that central ribbon. That's basically because the idea is that everybody has been exploiting these areas for a very, very long time, for centuries, and they're running low. Now, of course, in the actual game, they will replenish over time, but the max that they would have at any one time is going to be much, much lower than in places farther away from that central ribbon. So, we're going to have to go search for some more. And it might be a good idea to just kind of head in the direction of some random station. Here we go. Do some travel drive. With a bit of boost in front of it. Now, of course, since we're in travel drive, orange cockpit, we can't see any of the rocks that might be valuable to us. If we get close enough, we can target them. We can click on them here with our mouse. That one's too far away. But most of them will show up as empty. So we are going to actually have to pay attention to how far we're traveling and make an effort to stop every once in a while. Now, as you can see here, we're passing next to a mineral/gas region. If we had a gas miner, we could go in there and just use our mining beam to collect gas from the atmosphere. Well, atmosphere, from the vacuum of space. But we don't, because our ship can only handle solid. And as you can see here, it's got this much silicon, and we have a capacity of that much here. A little bit over, just under 12,000 cubic meters. All right, let's go ahead and stop here. Turn on our scanner. No luck. And different rocks will carry different products. Some will be silicon, some will be ice, some will be ore, and some will be Nvidium. Silicon, ice, and ore can be used by various stations to make other products. That is your first element in a production chain, typically. It's going to be some form of ore, or silicon, or ice. Nvidium, however, does not get used by anything. Nvidium can only be sold at trading stations, which we don't have one here, but they're basically the big looking stations like this that have a little credit sign on them. Ooh, there's someone out here. Ah, look at this. There's another mining ship out here doing this. Oh, that's me. Oh, I'm trying to shoot something. What am I thought that was another mining
Asteroid.
ship. Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Why? There's nothing there. What are you doing? He might be trying to get like this. He as if the turret's alive. It could potentially get some other kinds of backpack products, but yeah, this guy's he's just being a derp. So we're gonna turn him off. There we go. I thought at first that it was another ship out here mining, but no. Anyway, so Nvidium can only be sold at trading stations, and it does not get used for anything. And so it is essentially just a time sink, but a good one, because it actually is fairly valuable. It's in the 500 credit per volume range, and you can make a lot of money if you can mine Nvidium. The problem is Nvidium is the rarest of the metals that you can pick up, the solid products. Ore is the most common, and then ice and silicon, and Nvidium is the least common. It is very, very hard to get Nvidium. Even with an NPC miner, it will, if they're doing that, it will take them a very, very long time to pick it up. But once you've got it, then you can go and sell it, and it is really valuable. Now, the next thing to look at is selling our products. So I'm probably not going to find another rock that I can shoot apart. So we're going to talk about trade a lot more in the next episode, but we're going to see a little bit of it here. So I'm going to turn on my trade filters here. Right now it's set to off. I'm going to turn them on. And we can see here that these are the top 5 products that are being bought and sold in this sector, or essentially this scope of the map, because it will change. If I get closer, some of those values will change. And if I get in close over here, we'll see such and such will, the various different options will appear. You can modify how you want to handle that by looking at the trade filters here. You can say, all right, let's go ahead and only look at stuff that is solid, and we're going to not look at container items. There we go. We're not going to look at liquids or condensate. We're just going to look at solids. And so that is bought wares for silicon and ore. If I turn it all off, they all go away, but then I could just do containers and so on. The other option, if I turn these all on, is I can just type in whatever it is I want to sell. So let's say silicon. There we go. And it will just filter out only to silicon. The other options here are basically what is the minimum volume that I want to be trading. These little hexes indicate how much volume there is at the various stations that we're looking at. 3 is the best, 1 is the worst. So if they're buying only a little bit, it's not great. If they're buying a lot, great. Selling a lot, selling a medium amount, and so on. And you can give yourself a threshold to say, well, I only want to find the big trades. There we go. You can also set to filter out different factions. You can show enemy trade offers or trade offers from factions that you are antagonistic to. And you can also filter out the number of trade offers you want to look at. So we can go down to 1 or up to 5, and this will be the top. These will be the best offers available in this scope of the map. That's not to say that only the stations that you're hovering over are the ones that handle those particular wares. It just means that these are the best ones there. So for example, I can go to Silicon here. I can hover over that. My best price is at this refined goods complex right here. If I come in over here, though, doesn't show. And then if I come down here, we got more refined goods. Turn off containers here. They're buying hydrogen. We've got silicon bought over here for only 139. So that's not nearly as good as the 148 we can do over here. And so that particular option doesn't appear on the list when you are zoomed out to where there's a better price. So here's what we can do. Since we're in this ship ourselves, we can't set up a trade process, like a trade job, the way we can with an NPC ship. But we can do it manually. So here's what we're going to do. Oh, the other thing you can do is if you just click here, it will create the filter based on what you clicked. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, so refined goods. We're going to go here. I'm going to go ahead and select on the map.
Goods complex.
And then we're going to go sell. We don't have a lot in our storage, but yeah, we got enough. No, actually we don't. We have a terrible amount. And the reason I say that is that the price to buy or sell a product will change every time a trade happens. Now, sometimes that price won't change to a full credits difference, but sometimes it will. And the trade price that you have will stay as it is until the sale is complete, which is to say, if I sell 100 silicon, I will get the same price for 100 silicon. If I sell 1 silicon, I will get my silicon price for the 1 silicon, but then the price might drop because they don't need as much. And so if I sell a second single silicon, I might not get as much money. But if I sell all 100 at once, I will get the initial price that I had originally seen. Therefore, it is always, always, always in your best interest not to do what I'm about to do, which is to sell an incomplete load. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you are providing materials to your own stations, or you just don't care about the price. Or for example, with Nvidium, you're just unloading that stuff. It doesn't matter how much it costs because you're making so much money anyway. But if it's something that matters, if the quantity that you're selling is too low, then the next time you go out there, you will essentially be losing money because you're selling piecemeal instead of all of them at once. So you would definitely prefer to have this completely filled up so that you can sell at 146 now because somebody just sold 146 for the entire batch instead of selling this portion for 146 and then having the price drop, and so then you go back out, you come back some more, and now the price is still low. We'll talk more about that when we talk about trading overall. Now, be aware that the physics engine of this game acknowledges that there is stuff inside my ship. So my maneuvering and my stopping power are much, much lower the more I have in my hold. Go! See, would you look at that? There we go. Okay, well, I have a good docking computer on my ship. Oh, boy. So, good docking computer on the ship, so it caught me.
Successfully docked.
All right, so now we're going to trade.
Welcome.
And we're going to sell the silicon. We have 386. We're going to sell it at 146. It's higher than the average price by 12.3%. Again, we'll go over a lot more of this in the trading episode, but essentially green prices are ones you like, and orange prices are ones you don't, and gray prices are just kind of meh. So we're going to go ahead and sell our silicon. We're going to make 56K out of that, and we're going to confirm. It'll take a few minutes, a few seconds. There we go. We've made our money. Now let's see what happens if we try to trade it again. Notice silicon has now dropped to 143.93 credits, only 10.7% over the average price. So if I went out and got more silicon and came back and sold it, I would have been leaving money on the table. Better to get your belly completely full before you come out to sell. Oh, here we go. There's something. There's an orange one. And as you can see, it's orange in the cockpit, orange on the radar, and orange on the map. And that
Asteroid.
is ore. Ore is more abundant than any of the other materials, but you don't make nearly as much money by mining it. Still, it's worth it. The yields are usually pretty good. And obviously, it's necessary for a lot of products. So at some point, you're just going to have to bite the bullet and do some ore mining. All right, so we're done with that. Next thing I want to look at is NPC mining. We're going to look a lot more at this when we look at handling commands, ship commands for non-combat ships. But for right now, we're going to be looking at this drill. We're going to rename him to NPC drill so we can tell the difference. And this is going to be... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do at all. We're going to do us and stuff. There we go. It's us and stuff. The NPC drill, I put him over here. And he's just chilling. He's not doing anything. He's got a hold position order. So that's what he's doing. Now, he can start mining as well. The problem is, he doesn't know where to mine. He doesn't have any knowledge about what is good here, and he's kind of a dum-dum. So what we need to do is we need to drop some resource probes, which will give him an idea of where the best options are for mining. And when we do this, we probably want to drop a few in the area. You don't usually need like more than 3 or 4, but it just depends. So we're going to go ahead and deploy a resource probe right there. So you right-click on the map, and then he's going to go and do that. And he's going to drop a probe, and then we'll be able to see the relative levels of the materials that are there. We can do the same thing ourselves. I'm just going to get away from the station a little bit. We can drop a resource probe as well, as long as you've got it in your loadout, which you can buy from an equipment dock or from a shipyard or a wharf, depending on the size of your ship. These are medium ships, and there are larger mining ships, of course. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go here, ship interactions, and we're going to deploy a resource probe. I gave myself 100. You never need 100. That's ridiculous. All right, so I have deployed a resource probe. I'm going to move out of the way a little bit so maybe we can take a look at him. There we go. And he's going to do a little blip. He's going to go beep, beep. Cheerful little resource probe. All right, so this one is about to drop one over there as well. Now, under normal circumstances, when the mining filter is turned off, you don't really see anything interesting about these other than the fact that they're deployed. Unless you hover over them. So I'm going to take this guy. I'm just going to move him away a little bit so we can actually get a clean access to this. If I hover over it, which now for some reason I can't do it. Now I'm trying to do it on purpose. There we go. This is the range that the probe reads. And it is showing, as you can see, very poor levels of Nvidium ore in silicon. If I turn on the mining, these will just stay active. All right, so let's take a look. Very poor, and you can tell it's very poor because it's got no stars. And that is a product of the fact that we are too close to the ring. That's mainly what that is. Over here, we managed to deploy in a slight gaseous area, and we got a little bit of helium. Not bad, but everything else is crap. So helium, not much methane, silicon, or Nvidium. All right, so let's take this guy. We'll do one more deploy up over here, maybe. How's that? And then I'm only selecting this so I can get an orientation as to which way I'm going to head. I don't actually want to go to that station, but it just lets me kind of know which way to point. All right, so now I'm going to travel on over to that area and drop another resource probe kind of up in this general vicinity. This guy's going to be taking a while. We might end up telling him to stop after a minute because, wow, he's a slow ship. There's no good reason, there's no good value in having the probes overlap. It's not super helpful for anything. Like, it's just a waste of distance. So we could drop one here and we'd get a little bit out here, but we'd lose the value of it. And since you're typically not carrying 100 resource probes around with you, usually carrying like 4 or 5, you kind of want to be a little bit more judicious. It's not that they're expensive, really. It's just that, why? You can only carry a certain number of deployables at once, and the deployables total is a max across all. And so resource probes, laser towers, and so forth on this ship can only max out at 100. We'll talk about that more when we look at deployables in a future episode. So we're going to go maybe a little bit farther out, and we're going to drop a probe. Here seems like a good plan. Now, if I drop a probe right now, momentum is going to make it go, whee! And sometimes that's pretty cool. So I like to do that. It's fun. And you can see it's a little blinky, blinky, blinky. And there's our probe. Oh, yeah, it's shit out here. It's just absolute terrible shit. I'm going to move this one a little bit because I'm bored. Go over there. You can deactivate anything that you don't want to have out here. We can go and have the, I should say you can deactivate asteroids, but this guy can go and collect it. You can have the drill go collect the probe, and then we could also go and just collect the probe ourselves. All right, how are we doing, NPC drill? He's about to deploy the object. He's taking a second. He's not very smart. She's not very smart. She's like 0 skill. Okay, yeah, this is absolutely terrible. Like I said, it's a very bad area for doing this. I don't know why I chose this for the tutorial. I'm not that smart either. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Now that we've got these 4 deployed resource probes, it's time to let our miner do some mining. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. The quick and dirty way is by right-clicking from your ship to somewhere and tell it, hey, let's go mine. And you'll be able to mine the type of material that is in that area. And it will mine until it's, full, and then it'll stop. The option that you also have here is a default behavior, which would be local auto mine. And if we do a local auto mine, you don't need any skill to do a local auto mine. But it's very limited in what it's able to do. It can mine in a sector and then sell at a station in that sector, selling the product that it's been picking up. So let's do a local auto mine, and let's say, okay, what do we want it to mine? Because this is a solid storage mining ship, we have these options, ice, Nvidium, or in silicon. So let's say silicon. So now we're going to anchor it. It's automatically anchored here, but we could pick another sector if we wanted to. But we're going to say, let's anchor here and confirm. Now it's going to find a spot that it can mine and hopefully pick up some stuff. If you don't have any resource probes in the sector, it will not do the job. It will be like, yeah, buddy, I don't know what you want. And it will use the resource probes to find its best options. It'll utilize that to some extent to identify where it's best to do the mining, and it will try to stay within the zones that the probes set out. But if it finds it's depleting an area, it might go to some other spot. And again, the quality of your pilot will determine how quickly it mines, how quickly it makes decisions, how quickly it heads off to trade, and so on. So this poor sap is going to be doing this for a very long time. But now we are mining resources, and then over time, this will slowly fill up with silicon. Because it's a local auto mine, you can only have it do one thing. And so we're going to have it mine silicon. If it were able to mine other items, if it were able to mine multiple types of ores, of silicon, Nvidium, and so on, it would be able to do so. Okay, let me see why it's not letting me select. Go. Oh, I don't want to discard that. It would basically just fill up here based on the different types. Like, it's not just that once you start with silicon, you can only do silicon. You can do whatever. It's just that you can only fill up to this 11,760 cubic meters. And depending on how smart the ship is, the pilot is, it may give up on mining and go sell before it's full. So you just kind of have to be aware of what could potentially happen. In a future episode, we'll be looking at mining depots, which are a way of making it easier to gather resources. So you assign a bunch of NPC miners to a mining depot that you've constructed in an area where there's good resources. And then they will mine all of that stuff for the station and then bring it back to the station. And then you can either use other mining ships to sell on to other stations, or you can have other factions, other NPC ships that are not controlled by you, go and buy, and then they basically are giving you money. So that's a nice passive form of income that you can start pretty quickly in the game, and it's kind of satisfying. So yeah, this this pilot's terrible. I would expect there to be at least one silicon in the time that I've been talking, but no, she's just not that good. Is there anything around here for us? Oh yeah, look at that. So let's just blast this thing into pieces. We'll use the turrets as well.
Resource probe.
Nope, didn't mean to do that. We're going to target
Asteroid.
that. There we go. Oh, we're going to knock it down before the turrets even start. There we go. Look at that. Look at that, baby, go. Pow. Container magnet. We grabbed one silicon out of that particular one. There we go. That's a lot more. A lot of these are very far away, so we can't actually reach them. There is lodestone over here, so we're going to go get a little bit closer. Container magnet has a short range on the medium ships. And so all of these spinny circles are product that we can pick up. If we can get the magnet, there we go. Pull them in. And you can target them directly if you'd like. And you can either just walk over them or much more effectively use the container magnet. Now, as you may notice, the silicon yield here was not great. And that is a side effect of just blasting the damn thing. If you have time and patience, it's always better to peel those little orange pieces off first and then blow up the asteroid, because you will tend to get a lot more stuff that way. Obviously, it doesn't matter too much if your hold doesn't hold a lot. In this case, we've almost filled up a little bit over a half, actually. So maybe it was worth it to do it that way. But again, if you got time, you're going to be much more successful if you peel off the little bits before you turn on your turrets and just take out the whole damn thing. Oh, we missed it. Now, these things are subject to physics. So there are certain circumstances where you can end up getting stuck in a situation where your container magnet causes a piece of ore or something to just start orbiting you like it's a little mini moon. And if that happens, just turn off your magnet and then turn it back on again, and that will fix the problem. It's not really a bug, honestly. It's just the physics of the physics engine of the thing, but it is kind of funny. Okay, so we're now at 58% full. Let's see how's NPC Drill doing. Oh, look, not bad. 351. Did half of what we did. So I guess we'll leave it here because we have been fairly successful. And when we come back, we'll be looking at trade and how to do a good trade run, both manually and with an NPC. Thanks for watching. See you next time.